All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. And boy, did James Gunn really step in it this time. We're going to see today something that he said in an interview yesterday that has the internet talking today. And it's not good. Not on the eve of Superman being released next week and all the stuff that is going on. And so this is some pretty crazy stuff. And we're going to look at a few other things as well. Now, I have to thank, again, I'm thanking everybody who watches my videos and takes the time to come here and leave comments. You guys are making this journey all worth it. If you're new here, please, if you like today's video, take the time to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and you will be notified as I have new videos go up. But we're going to jump into the few photographs that I have to show you guys today. Now, I could not confirm where this came from or what account, but it's lining up with some of the other things that I have shared. Someone said, saw the new Superman. Brutal, like painfully bad. The flying scenes look like unfinished PS3 cutscenes, and the score tried way too hard to be epic, ended up sounding like Discount Zimmer. Now, I saw a clip today that I'm going to talk about where, to me, it seems more Looney Tunes. This person said the tone was all over the place, like the movie couldn't decide if it was a cartoon or a Marvel copy. The final battle? Emotionally empty, CGI soup. The Pa Kent scenes were laughably forced. Now, I am seeing this movie on Tuesday, so I will be back that night to give you my review on this film. And we'll see if any of this is true at the end of the day. Now, this came up the other day as well, and this comes from Extra. James Gunn says, I don't know how you say her name, but she was in, I think it's Adria Arjona. I'm not even going to try to say her name. I haven't seen her in an interview, so I don't want to butcher her name. She's a good actress. She was in the Star Wars series that just ended on the Rogue One series, the prequel series. And so she did a great job. She could totally play Wonder Woman, but James Gunn says she would make a great Wonder Woman. But there's more. James Gunn has seen those Wonder Woman casting rumors, and he's setting the record straight. He goes, I didn't just follow her. We've been friends. Now, this is interesting. To me, I said on X that this is a translation that I'm letting the internet do the casting, and she will be the next Wonder Woman. Just mark my words. This is what is to be expected. And James Gunn actually said something about the Trinity today, and I'll talk about that. That should be one of the last screen grabs that I have for today's video. Also, this was posted by DC Film News, The Hall of Justice in Superman, flying to theaters July 11th. So we're just a little over a week away from this release. I will be seeing it next Tuesday, so, 3 days before its normal release. I'm also going to be seeing the new Jurassic World Rebirth movie tomorrow, and I will be doing a review on that as soon as I get back. Now, this is pretty crazy. Warner Brothers Discovery is in trouble. I mean, this goes far beyond the movie division. And this was posted. It says, Good morning, brethren. We are gathered here to witness the slow demise of a great company. The investors are pissed. South Cali guy had posted $1 billion worth of stocks are being sold. Warner Brothers Discovery stock falls after Advanced Newhouse sells $1 billion of their stake in the company. People are getting out. People are seeing the writing on the wall. As more stuff gets released for Superman, people are realizing this probably wasn't the direction to go in. Also, this was a new look at David Corenswet as Superman flying to theaters July 11th. I'm indifferent to this photo. It looks like he's flying up into the sky, or he's coming straight down. Either way, he's got a lot of light on his face. I would say this looks more like Superman and more like conviction than anything else that he's done so far. Now, I thought this was interesting. When asked if Superman scratched the itch or if he wants to keep going, James Gunn simply smiled without saying a word. So it's whether he's got a lot of things. I did see him in an interview, and he talked about a lot of things coming up, and I will try to remember to talk about that here at the end of today's video. Okay, now this is crazy. James Gunn sat down with Real Rejects. They have been swooning all over this film for quite a while. So James Gunn goes where it's safe. I invite James Gunn to come to my channel. I'll interview him, and I'll ask him real questions. And he's going where it's safe and where people adore him. And this comes from Culture Crave, Superman director James Gunn on online criticism. I do tune out. Okay, now before I get into this, it's important to know that this was the quote that got everybody upset over the last 24 hours. This is directly from James Gunn himself. I've actually seen the video, so I know that this is real. I do tune out most of social media. But every once in a while, someone will say something. It's always the weirdest stuff. And then I go, I think I might be getting upset about something of a 12-year-old in India, about something a 12-year-old in India is saying. You know what I mean? And I'm like, let it go. Wow. This is the CEO of DC Studios. James Gunn has been known in the past to battle with fans. Now, I've never had a direct interaction with him. I don't even know if he knows if my channel exists. I'm assuming they do at this stage, but who knows? And what's crazy about this is very racist. There were people all over online talking about how racist this actually is to say something like this. And now they're talking about doing a boycott in India because of this. Here we go. Netizens call for Superman boycott. James Gunn's racist India comments under fire ahead of DC revival. And this comes from the Financial Express. And I don't know that this is a true revival, guys. Things are not looking good. And we're going to talk about what this movie is forecasting to make on its opening weekend. And sometimes they're way off, but it keeps getting worse by the day. So this was one of those videos. James Gunn says that Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman will appear on screen together, but not in this movie. And he also said not in the next movie, which leads me to believe that the next movie will be a World's Finest film, and then Wonder Woman will probably come after that. And this comes from Deadline. All right, so let's talk about a couple of things here. First of all, let's talk about the opening weekend and the projections at this stage. It does appear that Superman is on tap to make around $100 million. Now, people online were talking about how the studio is okay if this makes $500 million. Now, there's something people need to understand about the budget. I'm just going to give Warner Brothers the benefit of the doubt. Even though we have the tax records out there and they're public, let's just say that this movie cost $250 million to make. That means they have to make double that just to meet that budget. On top of that, they've had $200 million in marketing. They really brought it on at the end, which I think was a huge mistake. In fact, they can't stop, and we're going to talk about one of the videos that I saw earlier today. They're just releasing too much at this stage, and none of it looks good. And they would have to make, before they even make a profit, this movie has to make $700 million at a minimum. It is projected to make $100 million in its opening weekend, which I think is going to go lower. If that happens, that's catastrophic. This movie is never going to make its money back because no movies increase after that opening weekend. They decrease. So this would have to be an incredible film with long legs, or this is going to be a disaster just happening right before our eyes. We may have another Flash situation on our hands. James Gunn just does not have a good track record when it comes to DC. He just doesn't. I've already talked about how, Peacemaker, Creature Commandos, they didn't even make it into the top 50 stream shows of last year, or the top 100 stream shows of last year, but Penguin did. Okay? James Gunn stuff has not, and never will. I just don't think his stuff is popular enough. People would like to think he is. He's just not as popular as people think he is. Now, let's talk about the scene that I saw. They released almost a full minute clip of the kaiju in Metropolis, and Superman is holding up his leg so that he doesn't crush a dog. And Superman has to use his breath to push the dog out of the way while music from like Looney Tunes is playing. And there's people actually standing right next to the monster taking pictures. I'm sorry, if this monster was there in front of you, you'd be hightailing in the other direction. And even the chaos that they show in that scene, people don't seem all that frantic. It looks staged. It doesn't look natural. And then Superman gets pushed down by the foot, and he barrels through the ground like Looney Tunes, off out to the side and comes up through the sidewalk. And I'm not talking he just goes like 10 feet beyond the foot. He goes a good like 100 feet away before he comes out of the ground, and the whole time the ground is bubbling like what you would see in Looney Tunes. That's what this is coming off like. It's coming off like it is Looney Tunes. It's just some weird stuff that's going on with DC right now. It is very obvious that they're not taking this seriously. This is going to be Silver Age goofy stuff. I think it's a foregone conclusion at this stage. Now, James Gunn has also said some things I wanted to talk about in previous videos but didn't get around to. James Gunn has talked about how not all of the characters are going to have trunks like Superman does. That in the future, characters like Batman may not have trunks. But on that same note, it just looks Silver Age. It looks silly. It looks outlandish. Now, James Gunn was in an interview. I actually saw the video clip. And somebody asked him about the future, about the Trinity, and he said, not in this film, not in the next film. And they also talked about the future of DC and what he's got going on in his head. He said he has lots of things going on in his head, but nothing has been planned out. So I think they're waiting to see. I really honestly think that they're in this wait-and-see attitude for what's going to happen with Superman. But I remember all the people out there talking about how Superman was going to make $250 million in its opening weekend. It was going to be the biggest film of 2025. And this was just up until a couple of weeks ago. And then the projections kept coming in, and they were going lower and lower and lower. And now it's talking about making $100 million. That's not good in its opening weekend. That is far from good. We are coming off of the July 4th weekend. Jurassic World is on tap to make like between 120 and 140 million. So put that into perspective. More people are going to go see Jurassic World than they are Superman. Superman should have been a slam dunk, people. I'm telling you right now, should have been a slam dunk. They could have had Man of Steel 2 out this summer in place of this film, and it would have been game over. Like, there would have been so many people going to see Man of Steel 2. There would have been massive excitement around DC, and that could have been the true rebirth. But what did Warner Brothers decide to do? Scrap everything and go with one singular vision by one guy who doesn't even take characters seriously. I showed you in the last video how he tells his people, don't even read the comic books, just read the script. That isn't how this works when you have an IP like this. All right, guys, so there's my update for the day. I do appreciate the support. Again, if you're new here, take the time to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and you will be notified as I have new videos go up. We will see you guys on the next video.